I just made a video on how grocery prices have went up nearly 30% since 2020. And I've got a lot of similar questions about, so Jermaine, what can we actually plant right now that's going to save us some money at the grocery store? So today I want to give you 10 plants that you could start that process of replacing some of the everyday items that you get at the grocery store. So of course, some of these you could put in the ground right now. And for others, you might have to just wait a season, but it's not going to be that long. I'm going to tell you exactly which ones to plant, which zones it's going to grow in for you, and just about how much money that you can save by putting these in the ground. So welcome back to GrowFit Florida. I'm Jermaine, and I grow food right here in beautiful West Central Florida, Zone 10A. So first up is Roselle. You can plant this in April or May. It grows all summer long, and by October, you'll have those deep red calyxes that you can use for teas, jams, sauces, and you can even eat the leaves like greens. One plant, it can produce 12 pounds of calyxes, like those dried hibiscus flowers that you get that cost a lot at the store. Those are about $8 to $15 a bag, depending on where you shop. And if you're in Central Florida, you already know our prices are the highest. One Roselle plant in your yard, in your backyard, can handle that for the entire year. It grows well in zones 8 through 11, and it can get up to 7 feet tall. It loves full sun. It loves this heat. You can put it in the ground now, and then by fall, you'll have some great harvest. We put some Roselle in the ground just a couple weeks ago, and we're already getting some really good growth out of them. As you see, got another one over here, looking good. Then we have some more over here. Planted another one right there. And then we have some more on the north end too. The reason why I'm putting Roselle on this list is because it is a multi-purpose type of plant that you can put in the ground. You can use it for stews, sauces, drinks. It's also going to be great for teas because we're all trying to stay healthy, and we're trying to find ways to grow things that's going to help us to stay healthy and make things that we know are going to help us in our health pursuit taste better. And you can add that Roselle to it. Another thing is, it's so many plants out there that you can grow in your backyard that you may never have grown up on. So how would you know? I learn new stuff just about every single day, new plants that we can eat and grow just about every single day. So I want to be able to provide some of that with you guys. So if you're like, I've never seen this in the grocery store, I've never heard of it, well, now you have. So now you see that this is an excellent plant that if you live in the right zones, you can put it in the ground. It's going to give you massive harvest. You're going to get a whole bunch. It's not that difficult to grow. Yes, there's a few things. You can get some powdery mildew on them and things like that. In future videos, I will cover that. In Patreon, you know I'm going to go over that. But it's not that difficult to grow, and you're going to get so much food. It's good for so many different things. And if you ever had a sorrel, it's a Jamaican drink, and on the holidays, usually around Christmas time, my goodness, it is one of the most delicious drinks that you will ever have. So this Christmas coming up, go find someone, go to a Jamaican restaurant, or call up one of your Jamaican friends and be like, hey, can you make me some sorrel? And you'll see what I'm talking about. Or you just grow it. You're going to harvest it this fall. You'll be able to keep some, and you can make it for yourself. That's what my wife and I do, and it is delicious. So that's why I'm putting this on your radar, because we have to learn new things. Just because you didn't grow up on it doesn't mean it's not good for you, doesn't mean it doesn't taste good, and doesn't mean we should just overlook it. So this is an excellent one to put, and I hope you guys can get this established and get it in the ground as soon as possible. All right, so number 2 on this list is passion fruit. Now, if you've ever priced this at the grocery store, you already know why I put this on this list. One little passion fruit, I think, can be between $2 and $4 at the grocery store, and you need several of them just to make anything out of it. So they're giving you one. Come on. Passion fruit vines here in Florida, they will produce dozens of fruit once it gets going, and it grows really fast. They love the heat, and it's a perennial in zones 9 through 11. So 9 through 11. Now, I have 2 of them. We have another one over here. We prefer the purple passion fruit. That's the one that we like. I suggest that you go to the grocery store or you order some passion fruit to see which variety that you like best. We like the purple one best, so that's what we grow. And it's right here up against our east wall. This wall gave it some protection because it's bouncing back, as you see. It's bouncing back from that freeze. But we used to have this whole trellis, and we had this trellis hanging with passion fruit. So it's going to come back by summertime. It's going to climb its way up there. We're going to have some passion fruit. It's going to get its way back. Spring is a great time to plant it. If you get it in the ground now and you give it something to climb on like a trellis, you'll have more passion fruit than you know what to do with it. The vine can produce for several years. I really enjoy any type of plants like this where it's not only a perennial, but you're going to be able to get several years of food from this. We all want things right now. So when you tell someone that it takes 2 years or 4 years to get food from something, they're like, man, I'm not waiting that long. I'm just going to go to the store and buy it. But we have to think more critical than that. We have to really understand that time's going to go by either way. 2 years is going to pass. 4 years is going to go by either way. And if God gives you those years, if you're blessed enough to see them, you're going to be so happy that you actually put that tree in the ground or you plant it, whatever, and now you have it. So time's going to go by. You might as well put it in the ground and give your future self a reward. You know what I'm saying? So the next one up is avocado. So avocado tree. This is not one you're going to put in the ground and next year you're going to get avocados. Obviously, it's going to take some time, but it's worth it unless you go out and you get yourself a 15 or 25 gallon tree. It's going to be expensive, but hey, you can do it. Avocados. This is a longer play, like I said, but it's going to be one of the best trees that you can put in your food forest, in your garden, because not only is it super healthy, you're going to save so much money. Avocados at the store, these are about $2.50 a piece. Could be more depending on where you live. Spring and summer is the best time to get these fruit trees like avocados established in Florida because that rain helps them move a little bit faster with that growing and establish those deep roots. Now, an avocado tree, if you plant this in the summer, something that you might want to consider is to get yourself a little bit of shade for a younger tree. So if you're putting it in the open field, direct sunlight, south end, just consider that. That blazing heat is not all the best for it. You want varieties that do well in our climate. I have Haas, I have Oro Negro, I have Simmons. They're all growing in my backyard. This is a Simmons avocado. We have little baby avocados on it. Now, a mature tree can produce 200 pounds or more of fruit per year. And I'm not exaggerating on this one. If you put this in the ground now or a pot like I have it in, you're going to be able to get avocados soon and you're going to save so much money at the grocery store. So I know you're probably thinking, why ain't you put it in the ground? Well, in January, we had plans of putting it in the ground, but we had that cold weather. So we couldn't put it there. So it's healthy. It's doing great now. We're just going to keep it in the pot. Next year, we plan on putting it in the ground because that's another thing that I want you guys to think about. Real estate in your backyard. When you don't have a huge backyard, when you don't have acres of land, we don't have an acre of land in our backyard. We don't have an acre. So we're growing a lot of food. So each spot is prime real estate. You can't put every single tree in the ground. You have to put the ones that benefit you the most, that your family enjoys the most. Because it doesn't really matter what tree it is. It's a tree. Trees are designed to get big or bigger than something that you're going to keep in a pot. So even with pruning it, it's still going to require some size. So for us, everything we put in the ground are things that we enjoy eating or it benefits our health. If we put it in the ground and it doesn't taste well or it's no longer a part of our health plan, then we'll take it out. We'll put it in a pot or we'll give it away or it'll just become compost. It is what it is. For you in your backyard where you're growing your food, think of it like this prime real estate. Every spot that you have to put something, make sure you want it there because over time, you're going to lose spaces. Some people have such a huge space to grow, it'll take them forever to fill up. But if you're like me with a smaller backyard, think of it like that. prime real estate, but we're going to put that one in the ground next year because yeah, that's something that deserves prime real estate. So next up is pomegranate. Now, one thing I want you to watch out for, they are prickly. So let me just put that right off the bat. These are prickly, so be careful. And you know how much pomegranates cost in the store. They could be anywhere from $4 to $8, depending on where you live. So it's an expensive fruit just for one. We love the taste. I've always wanted to grow pomegranate. So we have 2 pomegranate trees in our backyard. The variety that we're growing is a wonderful pomegranate. Now, as you see, ours are looking pretty good. We've been growing a lot of food for a long time. So it's something that we're able to get by with pushing the zones on certain things. There's other varieties that do so much better in the heat that you're not going to have to worry about as much as the wonderful pomegranate. The problem is with us, we like the taste of the wonderful. I don't like to taste too much of the other ones, so I'm going to grow what we eat. That's another thing. Grow what you eat. Don't just grow something to grow it. If you don't eat it, don't grow it. So now let's learn some more about pomegranates. They could be up to $4. I've seen them for $2. I've seen them for $4. I've seen them for $6. So it's whatever they want to sell, whatever they have available. And you only can get them a couple months out the year. So that's another thing. Meanwhile, the tree in our yard, this one we have 2, it will produce year after year after year. Spring is a great time to put this plant in the ground. These trees, they grow through zones 7 through 10. So zone 7 through 10, you can have yourself a pomegranate tree. And even lower than 10, 10B, 11, there's varieties that's going to be able to take the heat even better and the humidity even better. Now we have ours on the south side of our property. We have wonderful. It's not the best when it comes to heat, but this is what we enjoy. There's varieties that you can get that tolerate that heat much better. We've been growing food for a long time, so we push the zones with a lot of things and we're just fine. If you've been growing food for a long time, then you can push the zones and get away with a lot of things and you'll be just fine because you know how to care for your tree. If this is your first time planting something and you like pomegranates as well, I suggest doing a little bit of research and get the tree that's going to be better suited for your zone. So if you live in zone 11, get a pomegranate tree that's going to be able to tolerate that heat just a little bit better than a wonderful pomegranate can. Now, we put these in sunny spots to help minimize that fungal growth. We also put them up in mounded locations so it drains very well. Now, these are I'm talking about very tough trees. Once they get established, nothing is tough until it gets established. Nothing. So if it says it can tolerate the cold, it only can tolerate the cold. It's only cold hardy when it's a mature tree. If it says it can tolerate the heat, it only can tolerate the heat once it becomes a mature tree. You have to give your trees time to live up to their rep because when they're babies, they're babies. They can't do nothing. Cold, heat, anything can take them out. And another thing to note, a mature tree like this one, it can give you dozens of fruit every single fall. So just one harvest on this tree is gonna give you your money right back. So next up, again, I know I said it the last video, I'm gonna keep harping on this, is sweet potatoes. Now you can plant sweet potato slips in the ground right now, raised bed, wherever you want them. Sweet potatoes can give you 10 to 20 pounds of food. Come on, sweet potatoes at the store, they run $1 or $2 per pound. So one row of sweet potatoes, you're looking at $20 to $40 and they can store well. You're going to get your money back. Just putting one slip in the ground, you're going to get your money back. They love heat. They love our sandy soil. They basically love everything there is about Florida. Sweet potatoes love Florida more than we do, guys. Now, this is one of the best bang for your buck crops that you can grow here. I have to say it again because I don't want anyone missing out on food because you can eat the leaves and of course you can get the root vegetable underneath. So sweet potatoes. I'm not going to go that deep into it, but next up is Moringa. My first mentor always used to tell me back, even when I didn't understand, but I fully understand now, said when you get your home, have a place that trains your body, have a place that works your mind, and grow your own health food store in your backyard. Those are the 3 things that he used to tell me. All right. So I want to make sure this next one is that we all can understand and appreciate, because I know you can say something so many times, like us who make videos on certain topics, we can say it so many times and you're like, they're saying it again. But listen, if something is good, that doesn't mean it's less good because it's being said more than one time, or that doesn't mean that we shouldn't say it again, because it is what it is. Like the healthiest plant on earth, if you type it in. Now there's other plants that can go toe to toe with it, let's say that there's other ones that can spar with it, but pound for pound was easily able to grow in our backyards here. If you have a southern garden, is Moringa. So why would I not tell anyone to go get this? Why would I not put this on the list? Because we're growing food. Is an excellent time to get Moringa in the ground right now. It's going to be your multivitamins. You can eat it. You can have tea with it. The whole plant is edible, and it can feed your other plants. You can use it for chop and drop to feed your other plants as fertilizer. There's so many uses with this one plant that it just blows your mind. Watch any of my old videos and you'll be able to get more information on 10 out of 10 times. If you ask me what tastes better to me, Moringa or the next plant on this list, which is bok choy, I'm going with bok choy. I personally love bok choy. Before I get into bok choy and the specs, I want to show you guys something, because you may or may not know this. And this is how we're able to grow so much bok choy. And let me just show you this. Speak no further. Let me just show you. So my wife let some go to seed, and I made a Patreon video on this the other day about this. When you let your bok choy go to seed, this is what you get. This is more food, more bok choy than we can plant in our yard. We can literally have our whole backyard bok choy with the amount that just one plant gave us. Look at all these seeds. This is crazy. Each one of these pods, I don't even want to open it because they're so small, and I tried and they fail there. Like, this is my second take on this, y'all, to be honest with you. I try, and every time I do it, they fall and they're in the box. But there's so many seeds in each one of these. Just one of these alone will start your garden. This one right here, you have a bok choy garden. Oh, you hear that? Just one of those alone, you're going to have a bok choy garden. Now, we're going to plant more, but we have people that we're about to give some of these seeds out to. So this is all spoken for. But look at all this food. And this is another reason why I just love bok choy. All right, so some quick information on bok choy for you. If you live in Central or South Florida, you can get bok choy planted from September through April. So we're just about at that tail end. Since we're moving into much warmer weather, you're going to want to pretty much get some shade around that bok choy, because you don't want it to bolt on you as the summer heat starts coming in. Bok choy at the store, it could be $2 to $3. You've seen those seeds. Each one of those pods give you 20 seeds or so in those pods. So you can literally plant those pods, and you're just one pod, and you're going to get your money back, and it's going to keep coming back for you. So bok choy is good from zones 4 through 10. And another cool thing about bok choy is when you get those seeds in the ground, you can harvest in 40 to 50 days, which is very quick food. So if we're talking about avocado where you're gonna have to wait a few years, now we're talking about bok choy where you just gotta wait a few months. So excellent crop to get in the ground. So next up is something that all of us in my household, we love, and that's grapes. Particularly for us, we're growing Muscadine grapes because this is what we're able to grow. It's like a weed here, especially in the South. It's like a weed. So we love grapes. Grapes are extremely expensive in the store. You guys know how much a bag of grapes can be in the grocery store. The great thing about growing your own grapes is you're going to get way more than you can eat, which you're still going to eat them all because they're grapes. So many different uses. Muscadine grapes are packed with so many vitamins. They're so nutritious for you. So it's something that's a healthy snack for you and your kids. It's so nice to be able to come outside in your garden and you have this, a grapevine, and you're just snacking on grapes. And we're getting hundreds and hundreds of pounds of grapes every year. And you can do this too. And let's get some more details about muscadine. Now, you might have heard that muscadines, they can go in the ground in the winter, and that is true if you have a bare root vine. But if you get a container grown plant from a nursery, you can plant it any time of year as long as you keep it watered. But we have found that spring is actually one of the best times to plant your muscadines. Now, we have muscadines growing in my wife's garden right now. And once this vine gets established, you can expect 35 pounds or more of grapes per year. And that's just if you plant a simple one. What we have right now, they're talking a few years. We're getting way more than that. Now, another great thing about this super perennial is muscadines. This is going to produce for up to 20 years. We're going to be able to get grapes from this. Now, grapes at the store, you already know. They can be between $4 and $9 per pound. You can't even find muscadines at most grocery stores. So these muscadine grapes, they grow through zones 6 through 10. You can grab a container plant from a local nursery and you can get it in the ground now. They taste delicious. They're refreshing. And again, even from a growing your own vitamins perspective, it is a great thing to add. I made a whole video on muscadine grapes and how you can use these as a part of your vitamins. Go check that video out.
So he gave you the fun stuff and left me with the ones that are going to actually save you money, which honestly, I'll take that because we never talk about this. When people talk about cutting their grocery bills by growing their own food, everybody jumps straight into tomatoes and peppers. Nobody's sitting there, I need to rethink my herb budget. But you should, because that is where the quiet drain is happening every single week. The little bunches of fresh parsley, $6, and then it's dead in a week. Fresh thyme, same story. You buy it, you use a spring, and the rest just go yellow and it's dead in your fridge. And you're back into the store the next week, doing it all over again. Meanwhile, you can be outside picking your own and snipping your own fresh herbs every time you need it versus going out every single week and buying it. Let's think about rosemary oil. I was buying that every single month or 2 months. And I forgot it was like rosemary growing right in my backyard. Honestly, it was embarrassing. The amount of rosemary oil and the amount of money I spent on rosemary products. And I had rosemary plant right here in my backyard. Rosemary is a woody, drought-tolerant, almost indestructible shrub. Once it's established, you kind of have to try to kill it because it handles heat, it handles neglect, it smells incredible, and it grows back every time you cut it. And for uses, obviously you can use it for cooking. I love to dry it for seasoning. I use my rosemary for teas, rosemary infused oils, rosemary sprays. You can use it for your hair and your scalp. You buy rosemary oil and spray regularly, so why not just grow it and use it and save money there? So I make my own now. It is so easy to infuse. You just steep the fresh or dry springs in a carrier oil and that's it. And the thing that I love about rosemary, it is a perennial plant. Because our warm climates here, you can plant it once and it keeps going. Some rosemary plants give you about 10 to 15 years. If you're in zones 4 through 11, it needs full sun, well drained soil, and really just don't overwater it because that is one way you can't kill it. If you're in cooler zones, just bring it inside during the winter. That's really all it needs. The thing is, rosemary is not the exception. That rule applies to all of our herbs. Whether you're trying parsley, thyme, basil, it's the same story across the board because you're buying them fresh and then they're dead in a week and you come back to the store. So that's $6 here and $4 there every single week. But every one of these grow very easy at home in containers, or if you're growing them in a patio or windowsill. Parsley and thyme are especially low maintenance. You plant them once and you're harvesting them all season. Thyme, you can literally just tuck it in. We have some growing right underneath our trees as ground cover. They will come back every year and it grows so fast and produce so much that it really, you won't know what to do with. But if that happens, you can always just dry it. You can grow them in zones 4 through 11. And when they are producing more than you can actually handle fresh, just dry them. You can hang them on small bundles upside down, lay them on a flat paper towel for about a week, and then you can store them in your glass jar. You don't need a fancy drying thing, or what is it called? A dehydrator. Just dry them right on your counter or hang them up. So rosemary, thyme, parsley, oregano, all the same thing. You can buy them, and I actually bought mine from the grocery store in those little pots, and that's this rosemary right here. It grows so easy. Why not? So all of these herbs, every last one of them, you can infuse in oils. You can make teas. You can use it for your hair, your scalp. The savings multiply faster than you would ever think. So let's grow some herbs. Now potatoes, that is a different animal. Herbs, you set it and forget it, and that's it. But potatoes take intention. They are not a plant once kind of thing, but we grow them anyway because we eat them regularly here. It makes perfect sense to grow them in our backyard. I buy so much potatoes, it's insane, like insane. Because you can roast them, you can mash them, you can fry them, you put them in stews. They are a blank canvas that you can basically do whatever you want with them. So I just have to have them in our backyard. But I do not recommend the conventional grocery store potatoes for planting. The reason why, now I have the organic, regular store bought potatoes, your standard like russet or your Yukon Golden, are almost always treated with sprout inhibitors. That is a chemical that tells the potato not to grow. That is why they sit on the shelf for 4 weeks without sprouting. You're fighting against that from day one. On top of that, conventional grown potatoes can carry a disease like fungal issues or have blight, and introducing that to your garden is risky. So I don't want you to just grow regular non-organic potatoes. I prefer certified seeded potatoes, or these are from the store, organic potatoes. These are not treated with sprout inhibitors, so they will actually sprout naturally. That is your best grocery store option. But even better, if you're going to really serious about growing potatoes, go to certified seeded potatoes. These are grown specifically to be disease-free, and they're sold by variety. So you get to grow things you'll never see in a grocery store, and it's actually worth it. I have some purple potatoes that I'm growing. Just want to make sure you plan based on what you actually eat. Because when I think about potatoes, this is what really makes a difference, and this is what made a difference from when I first started growing potatoes. You don't just throw some amount of potatoes in the ground and hope for the best. I think about how much we actually eat in our household, and each seed or eye you plant gives you roughly a pound of potatoes at harvest, depending on the variety and your conditions, of course. So you want to work backwards. So if your family goes through 5 pounds of bags of potatoes every 2 weeks, exactly how much you need to plant. And you can just stagger your planting. So succession planting every few weeks. So you're not drowning with potatoes all at once. So you're planting your sessions and you're replacing what you're buying, which means you got a steady supply without waste. So potatoes grow in all zones, guys. So the timing just shifts based on your climate. So if you're in zones 3 through 5, you can plant them early to mid-spring, about 2 to 4 weeks before your last frost. Potatoes can handle a light frost, so that way you can harvest it mid to late summer. If you're in zone 6 to 7, late spring to early winter, you also may get a fall crop in. So zones 8, 9, you have 2 seasons, late January through February for a spring crop, and again, late summer for a small and winter crop. Now for us in Florida, fall and winter is your main season. So you want to plant them from October through January. You can push it through February. Summer heat really slows down the tuber formation, so we work with our cooler months. What I love most about potatoes is that you don't need a lot of space to actually grow them. What we currently have back here, I have half in pots and half in the ground. I want to see which one's going to actually produce more, and that's why I have it there. So you don't need a big in-ground bed. You just need a few grow bags. I say go with 10 grow bags if you're going to grow, actually want to feed your family. That in each grow bag, I think a 10-gallon, you can fit maybe 2, pushing it 3 potato eyes in that grow bag. So the best way to get the max amount of your potatoes is you want to heal your potatoes as they grow about 6 to 8 inches tall. What that is just mounding the soil around the base, because potatoes form along the buried stem. So the more stem you cover, the more potatoes you get. You don't want to skip that, because you may harvest and why do I have so small potatoes, or not a big harvest. So especially if you have indeterminate potatoes, you want to continue to heal that potato. I know that we love to eat the leaves of certain plants. Potatoes are not one that you want to eat those leaves. They are part of the nightshade family, and the leaves and the stems contain a mild toxic called solanine that the potato itself is completely fine, but the leaves, don't eat the leaves. You don't want to make greens with the leaves. So you also want to watch for green potatoes. If the potatoes get too exposed to light, the skin turns green, and that green part is also high in solanine. Keep your soil healed up so potatoes aren't breaking through that surface, and it helps. And you want to make sure when you do harvest your potatoes, you store it in a dark place, not next to onions. I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna learn the hard way if you put them next to onions. Don't store them next to onions, because your potatoes will sprout a lot quicker and spoil much faster if they're stored right next to your onions. All right, so before I give it back to Jermaine, I just want to say herbs and vegetables, you are already buying every single week. And some of these are easy wins in your garden. I don't want you to just focus on those exciting crops that and then you overlook the stuff that's quietly costing us money over and over again. So start with one herb. Literally one. You can grab a rosemary, a thyme, put it in a sunny spot, and watch what happens. Then come back here and plan your potato session with intention. Know what you're planting and know why, and know what you're going to do with your harvest. So everything we shared and everything I mentioned is going to be in the description below. So thanks for watching. I'll turn it back to Jermaine.
I was just commenting on the last video, and I was telling someone that I remember when my wife and we went to Ohio to visit some family, and we went to Giant Eagle, which is like their Publix. And we spent, I want to say maybe like $200, and our cart was filled up with food. And this wasn't that long ago. Our cart was filled up with food, and it was organic produce, organic proteins, it was filled. And we were like, man, this same $200, if we take it down here in Central Florida, I mean, the cart would be like an eighth full, we wouldn't have that much in there. So it's clear that we're paying more for food in Central Florida, and it's clear that we can't change things about that. Like, there's nothing we can do about that, but we can grow some food in our backyard to help supplement that cost. So if you're spending $2,000 a month on food, you could set yourself a goal, let's take off 500. And then you can take that 500. We live in Central Florida. Maybe you want to go to Disney or Universal, take the kids out with that $500 in savings, or save it for something. Save it for a rainy day. Put it in your investments, whatever you want to do, you just got $500 back. It ain't about growing everything. I would never say go outside and just plant and grow everything. Grow the foods that you like. And that's what, like I said, that's what my wife and I are doing. And it's, over the years, we're starting to see like we're saving a lot of money. And I'm not joking with you guys. I'm not saying that we're saving like $50 here, $75 here. No, I know you see a lot of different people gardening, and you see these big gardens, and sometimes they don't talk about the cost savings of it. I'm telling you guys, coming from me, look, we are saving a good amount of money growing food in our backyard, and you can do this too. And I want you to do this too. So if this video brought any value to you, please like it, share it, hype it, send it out there to the interwebs. Let everybody hear it. Appreciate you guys being here. Head over to GrowFitFlorida.com because you can get your free plant guide, and I have some other things on that page too I think you'll like, totally free. If you want more videos and if you want to interact with me and ask questions, head over to Patreon, sign up, become an Inner Circle member. I put a lot of different videos that I don't put on YouTube over there on Patreon. We get a little bit more personal with it. And also, I just want to say thank you to my wife. I know that, she spreads so much gardening joy to everyone. And I'm just really thankful that I have a partner that shares in the same interest. We have the same interest and love for gardening together, and head over to her channel, rootedinjays.com, so you guys can see, you can get some of that love that she just has for gardening, and she'll show it all to you on her channel as well. So thank you guys for watching, and until the next video, God bless.